meeting of the Committee on Games and Amusement is hereby called to order. For the information of everyone, Rule 10, Section 13, Paragraph 19 of the Rules of the Senate provides that this committee has jurisdiction over all matters relating to games and amusement, such as but not limited to casinos, lotteries, and high alliance horse racing, unquote. We're pleased to inform everyone that the committee has now been duly constituted with 11 members, and this representation is your chairman, Senators Bato de la Rosa and Christopher Lawrence Bongo as our vice chairperson. And our members are Senator J.V. Ejercito, Senators Rodante D. Marcoleta, Senator Juan Mig Subiri, Senator Rafi Tulfo, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, Senator Mark Villar, Senator Manuel Lito Lapid, and Senator Panfilo Lacson. They are joined by our ex-official members, Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva, Senate Minority Leader Vicente Soto III, and Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada. At this point, the Chair would like to acknowledge the presence of our Senator Cayetano, Chairman of the Banking and Finance.
Mr. Chair, may I also call to order the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies, which will focus on the e-wallets and the means of payment, but we will submit to the direction of Chairman Erwin Tulfo, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We also have here today with us Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Morning, Chair.
Senator Bongo will be joining us via Zoom. We also have here Senator Mig Subiri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We also like to call to order the Committee on Economic Affairs. We'll also listen to the possible economic impacts of our country due to unabated online gambling. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Pia Cayetano is with us here this morning.
Good morning. May I know, is it our procedure that secondary committees must call to order? I'm just checking because
Yes.
I've never done that before.
Usually the primary two committees, but since you're my older sister,
I don't need to call anything to order as
whatever.
long as it's duly recorded.
Yeah.
I'm just checking if you need me to do it. Thank you.
in the to my recollection, with your permission, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
for example, dun sa ZTE hearing, I think we were three committees. We did it this way. But usually when the secondary, tertiary committees either do not attend as a committee or submits completely to the first committee, then they do not call to order their committee, Mr. Chair, to answer Senator Pia's question.
Yeah, and the reason I asked, Mr. Chairman, is because later on, when I give my opening statement, I was going to explain that if we end up regulating and this becomes a tax measure, I may be constrained to hold a separate hearing. So I'm just putting that on record. I don't know if it makes a difference if I call to order or I'm just a participant here. I'm just putting that on record. Thank you.
Noted, Madam Senator. Anyway, as we continue, Senator Rafi Tulfo is with us here this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator Marcoleta is with us. And we'd like to acknowledge the presence also of our Majority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva. At this point, the Chair would like, with that, the Chair hereby declares the presence of a quorum. We shall now proceed with the business at hand. The committee will not be adopting new or additional set of rules. We shall be guided by and fully subscribe to the pertinent provisions of the rules of the Senate and the rules of procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. These shall govern the operations, proceedings, and conduct of all meetings, hearings, and investigations under the jurisdiction of this committee. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the pertinent rules mentioned are hereby adopted. We shall now proceed with the conduct of the public hearing and inquiry in aid of legislation on the various Senate bills, resolutions, and the privileged speeches addressing the proliferation of online gambling in our country. At the outset, the Chair would like to thank the Senate leadership and our distinguished colleagues for entrusting me with the chairmanship of the Committee on Games and Amusement. We are confronted with urgent and complex issues, foremost among them the increasing prevalence of online gambling and its attendant social, economic, and moral implications. For this matter, today's public hearings conducted jointly with the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions and Currencies, the Committee on Ways and Means, the Committee on Youth, and the Committee on Economic Affairs. Committee Secretary, can you read the record, the agenda for today's hearing?
Good morning. The agenda for today's public hearing and inquiry in age of legislation are the following. Senate Bill number 30, introduced by Senators Pia S. Cayetano and Senator Alan P. Cayetano, entitled An Act Prohibiting Online Gambling in the Philippines, Prescribing Penalties Therefore and for Other Purposes. Senate Bill number 47, An Act Prohibiting Online Gambling and the Placing of Wagers or Bets through the Internet or any form of online gambling activities, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes, filed by Senator Joel Villanueva, the Majority Leader. And Senate Bill number 57, entitled An Act Regulating Online Gambling in the Philippines, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian. Senate Bill number 142, An Act Prohibiting Online Gambling in the Philippines and for Other Purposes, by Senator Mig Subiri. Senate Bill number 387, An Act Regulating the Accessibility and Marketing of Online Gambling in the Philippines, Reducing Gambling-Related Addiction and Harm, Establishing a Harm Mitigation Levy, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Risa Hontiveros. Senate Resolution number 12, Resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the proliferation of online gambling and lending in the Philippines, with the end in view of formulating stricter regulatory measures to protect Filipinos from its harmful socioeconomic effects, introduced by Senator J.V. Ejercito. Senate Resolution number 19, Resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the engagement of learners in online gambling for the purpose of crafting policy recommendations and responsive legislation, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian. Senate Resolution number 26, Resolution urging the appropriate Senate committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the social, economic, and public health impacts of online gambling operations in the Philippines, especially among the youth and minors, aiming to strengthen the regulations that will protect the youth and minors from exposure to online gambling and holding online platforms, operators, and promoters accountable, introduced by Senator Camille Villar. And last but not the least, the privileged speech of Senator Juan Miguel Subiri on online gambling, delivered on July 30, 2025, and its manifestation. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Committee Secretary. For the record, the Chair notes that Senator Rafi Tulfo has likewise filed a Senate bill on the subject matter, which is still pending referral to this committee. And now please allow me to deliver my opening statement. It is legal or illegal, licensed or unlicensed, online gambling is destroying our lives. Itigil na po natin ito. Let us not sugarcoat the truth. Behind the glossy advertisements and the so-called regulation is a multi-billion peso industry that thrives on addiction. Addiction that drives fathers to abandon their responsibilities, push mothers into crippling debt, and leaves children to grow up in broken homes. We have students dropping out of school, not for lack of intelligence, but because online gambling consumes their time, allowance, and will to learn. We have workers whose productivity has collapsed, not out of laziness, but because they spend the night chasing their losses on their phones. We have families driven to ruin, individuals pushed to suicide because of this addiction. And yet, this industry persists sa ilalim pa ng mga lisensya ng gobyerno mismo ang nagbigay. PAGCOR, you were created to regulate and control games of chances, supposedly for the benefit of the nation. But no less than the Department of Finance recently reported that 60% of the online gambling operations are illegal. From September 2022 to August 6, 2025, 11,985 illegal online gambling sites have been identified, of which 6,363 are online casino games, 236 are offshore sites, and 4,813 are links for online sabong. More than 3 remain active, and that is not even counting the unidentified platforms. PAGCOR, your continued licensing of online gambling operators has fueled this epidemic. You cannot claim innocence when your revenues are stained with tears of families you helped destroy. Research from the Senate Economic Planning Office reveals that PAGCOR's gross gaming revenue surged by 309% in 2024, mainly attributable to e-casinos and electronic games. That's approximately 100 billion pesos built on gambling and addiction. Pinagbabawal po natin o pinagbawalan natin ang Pogo, nagsilipatan naman sa Pigo. Ang masama, Pilipino mismo ang biktima at kawawa ngayon, unlike sa Pogo, mga Chinese at foreigners po ang biktima. Mas mahalaga ba ang bilyong-bilyong pisong kita kaysa sa pagkawasak ng maraming pamilyang Pilipino? Pagkasibak sa trabaho ng mga manggagawa o mga estudyante na tumigil sa pag-aaral? At ang pinakamasaklap at higit na hindi katanggap-tanggap ay ang pagkitil ng sariling buhay dahil sa sugal na pinapayagan po ng pamahalaan.